Catch up on previous parts by clicking the playlist, linked in the description. In a magic tower, the mysterious man, seen with Duke Alpheus, found a mountain of treasure there, just as he expected. He then decided he'd prepare a little gift for the princess. While walking around the library, Athanasia recalled that Jeanette and Helena mentioned they liked Knight's poetry. She would go around searching for a manuscript, but never expected to suddenly run into Ezekiel. She asked why he was in her personal library, and he explained that due to living abroad for a long time, he had forgotten Nobelia's geography. Ezekiel supposedly did know this place belonged to her, but she could tell he was lying. She called him a trespasser, threatening to pursue justice. But Ezekiel claimed she couldn't, because when it came to trespassing, her crimes were far greater than his. Athy was at a loss for words, as she remembered those times she came into his house without an invitation. She complained that he was just like his father. Ezekiel would apologize for his rudeness, and was willing to accept any punishment, but seeing the one he'd been thinking about brought him happiness. He would request to approach her more closely. However, Lucas would show up, stopping him and letting him know that His Majesty would disapprove. Ezekiel asked what gave a wizard the right to enter the princess's library, and Lucas answered that he was employed by the imperial household. The air became very tense as they shot each other threatening glares. This was a standoff between gentle charisma and a lone wolf. The princess got them to stop their argument, explaining to Ezekiel that Lucas was permitted to enter this place, and there was no need to verify his position. Lucas boasted of being a wizard who was chosen instead of Ezekiel some years ago. Ezekiel would then excuse himself, handing the princess the book in his hands before leaving. Lucas then snatched the book from Athanasia, teasing her when he saw it was a romance novel. On their way back, the princess mentioned how they butted heads back in the library, but Lucas didn't care about a guy like that. Athy reminded him that Ezekiel was of House Alpheus. The Alpheus lands were abundant, and because they had mines, it was said they were very wealthy. Despite all that, Lucas still saw himself as the winner. The princess mentioned that Ezekiel was taller than him. That's when Lucas returned to his adult form, reminding her that he was only pretending to be a child to match her. Looking at her like this, he claimed the exalted princess was truly puny. Athy panicked and started hitting him so he would return back to normal. She warned him not to transform without permission again. Back at the manor, the princess wondered what to do in return for all the presents she received at her tea party. Lucas told her she didn't have to do anything, but she mentioned that the gifters were her precious friends, just like him. She got embarrassed, thinking he was going to get an ego from this. Lucas questioned if she saw them as equal to him, and as Athy began saying he was a little more important, she quickly regretted it because she didn't want him to get conceited again. Feeling proud of himself, the great wizard offered to follow her to town to help her pick her return gifts. He obviously got cocky again. Then, Athy asked how they'd even get out of the palace. With a snap of Lucas's fingers, they were teleported to town. With this, the princess confirmed he could actually use teleportation magic. He would then change their outfits so the princess wouldn't stand out too much. She was amazed by the number of people here, the fruits, the food, and the pretty pieces of fabric all around. They stopped at a cafe where she ordered many different kinds of treats. It made Lucas question if there was some kind of magic that prevented her from gaining weight after eating so much. When Lucas noticed Jeanette outside the window, Athy quickly hid her face. Then he used magic to help them hear Jeanette's discussion with the vendor. Jeanette was shopping for a present to give to someone precious to her. The person was really important to her, and she was hoping her feelings would reach them. The vendor then suggested choosing something at the magic market. Though it was a dangerous place, it was best for Jeanette to go with someone. Athy wondered what kind of place the magic market was, and Lucas told her it was a place where one could buy unusual or forbidden things, like books on black magic, cursed items, or even monsters. Hearing this, the princess decided to go there as well. They would silently tail Jeanette, trying to make sure she didn't notice them. While Jeanette went into a shop to look for something to buy, Lucas sensed an aura of black magic outside. He quickly left to check it and told Athy to wait for him. As he scanned through the crowd, he found a surge of powerful black magic that shocked him. Meanwhile, Anastasius approached Jeanette, and she saw that he had a resemblance to Claude. Anastasius then took a look at the pearl she was holding, and without her knowing, he imbued it with black magic. On the other hand, Athy found the man quite suspicious. With Jeanette finishing her shopping, the princess decided to return home. Athanasia searched around town for Lucas, but couldn't find him anywhere. Meanwhile, Anastasius decided it was time for the princess to face her ordeal. The curse he placed on the pearl Jeanette bought suddenly released a huge orb of black magic, summoning a monster in town. The monster charged towards Jeanette, but Athy showed up just in time, using her magic to save her. While she struggled to hold the monster back, Lucas was cleaning up the traces of black magic around town. Seeing the explosion in the distance, he realized what the culprit's true objective was. So, he released Raven to go save the princess. Athy was barely holding on, and at this rate, her magic would soon run out. She managed to bind the monster briefly. Jeanette's pearl caused the beast to become more powerful, breaking its spine. As the girls ran away, Athy told Jeanette to hide while she acted as a decoy. Soon after, Raven showed up and began fighting the monster. The princess used the chance to chant a spell, conjuring a bow in her hands. She would fire an arrow of light that defeated the monster and shattered the cursed pearl. After that, Jeanette asked Athy why she was here. The princess told her it was a secret and made her promise not to tell anyone. Jeanette would then present her gift, but was shocked to see the pearl had broken. But Athy didn't mind, claiming that her feelings were the greatest present. She then asked Jeanette to address her by her name. They were friends, after all. When Lucas returned, Athy started complaining about the way he abandoned her. Though she boasted of defeating the monster, he teased her for acting smug for defeating such a weak monster. After that, they headed home, not knowing Anastasius was keeping an eye on them through a magic orb. Alright, this episode had a bit of an action-packed spectacle. I do think it's a little weird that they flashed Lucas as an adult, and that his romance makes less sense, because here in the anime, Athanasia is not a 20-year-old woman reincarnated. But what do you guys think? Subscribe for next week's part. Also, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.